Anna will talk about lettering plates. Fantastic topic, I find. And I was really curious when we were discussing what she would like to present about, and this was, I think, an excellent pick of a topic. Anyway, without further ado, Anna, the stage is yours.
Okay. Hello and welcome to my presentation about lettering plates. First, some facts about me. My name is Anna Neubauer. I'm 17 years old. I live in a small village called Pucking in Austria. I'm still a student of the HTL Steyr in the department Art and Design as a blacksmith. And yeah, how I got to know the Treff. I made an internship abroad at Patrick's workshop, and he introduced me to this Treff. And yeah, so I'm holding a presentation now, and yeah, why I want to become a blacksmith. In my last school, I in the fourth grade, I had this idea. Okay, I don't want to go to a normal school anymore because it's boring, and I need some different stuff in the school. So I looked for some different types of schools which we have in Austria, and then I found the HTL Steyr. Then they have the department Art and Design, which includes blacksmithing, and I thought, okay, it sounds pretty interesting. And yeah, so I tried it for one day, and I liked it pretty much, and it was pretty interesting for me to work. And it was something completely different. Yeah, and I liked it, so I I am in the school now. Yeah, yeah. Now I'm gonna talk about all the steps, which includes lettering plates. And yeah, first I'm gonna tell you the steps, and later I'm gonna tell you more facts and more about the different steps and what especially you do there. First, we cut a copper plate, which is 1 millimeter thick. Then we prepare the copper plate for the lettering progress. After preparing it, we fortify the copper plate on the kit board. Um, then we choose a design for the plate. Maybe you already have a design, but yeah, then it's not too late for now to choose it. Then after you have your design, you can transfer the design on the plate or directly draw it on to the plate. After that, you can start to chisel the design into the plate. When the chiseling process is done, you can take down the plate, and you have to clean the plate from the kit leftovers, which will be on the plate. Yeah, when it's cleaned, you can cut off the edges. In school, we always do it. We cut off some of the edges so we can bend them and solder them together. And yeah, you can patinate the copper if you like. And the next point is also optional. If you like, you can bring the higher points of the copper plate back to a more shinier and surf look, and so it looks more like copper again with a pumice floor. Yeah, which tools you need for um, um, lettering we need a kit board, then where the copper plate is fortified on. Then we have a copper plate for the chiseling process. We need a chiseling hammer, which you can see on the right side. It has a special form, so you and down there are some chisels. There are many different styles, but in school we use the one with the round edges, so you don't can make any sharp edges into the material or even cut it. And yeah, there are also some with flowers or yes, all different shapes for different things you want to do. Yeah, now to the step by step. First, we're gonna cut a 1 millimeter thick copper plate. It also can be a little bit thinner. We also made one with 0.8 millimeter. And yeah, you also can use a little bit thicker one. But the thicker the plate gets, the harder you can work with it. And yeah, for us in school, we said, okay, 1 millimeter is the best for us. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. And yeah, we like the 1 millimeter the most, so we use the 1 millimeter. Then we prepare the copper plate for the lettering process. We sand the plate so it's getting a smooth surface and we can get all the scratches out of the material. And yeah, we also try to always sand in one direction so we have the same structure everywhere. And yeah, so it's a smooth surface. And we use to up to a 100 grit sandpaper. And yeah, after the sanding is done, we take the kit board and make it warm, but don't overheat it so it gets bubbles, because we don't want the bubbles underneath our copper plate, because when we work on the copper plate, the bubbles underneath are very disturbing, because when you work and you directly chisel on a bubble, you can create a very weird hole shape which you don't want in your board, on your plate. And yeah, it's not very good for the process. And yeah, when the kit board is warm and is a little bit sticky and tacky from the consistency, you can make a little bump in the middle of the board where you place the copper. You bend it like this, so the middle part of the board plate lays first, and then you try to push down the edges from the plate as good as possible. And you lay the prepared surface directly on the kit, so the other side, which is not prepared, looks up, looks to you. Yeah. So the next step would be to let it cool down a little bit so it's not hot anymore. So you can touch it with your hands and it's not hot. You can burn yourself. It's a warm temperature when a tea is pretty cooled out and it's not hot anymore. Yeah. It's yeah. So then we can choose our design, or we have already a design, and then we can transfer the design on the plate or draw it directly on the plate, as I did. I drew it directly on the plate in the center. And yeah, when you want to, you also can put a picture from the internet onto your plate, then and copy that. When you copy the picture, make sure that you have very much color intensity, so it's easier to transfer. And you can transfer it with acetone, and that's the easiest to transfer it. And when you have it transferred on your plate, you can start to chisel. And yeah, in school we learned we should start with the more difficult parts. And in my case it was the circle in the middle, because circles are a little bit more hard to create because they have to be perfectly round. They don't have to, but in this case, it should be perfectly round. And yeah, so it's a little bit harder to create a completely round shape. And yeah, and then I made the wavy things. And yeah, when the chiseling process is done, it looks like the second picture in the first row from the right hand side, the second picture, where and there I thought, okay, maybe I should let it look like this, but then in the end I thought, okay, maybe when it's curved like this, it doesn't look like a sun, and so I created the bump into the other direction because I thought, okay, when I put the plate down, it should look like round and like the sun because the sun is round. And yeah, so I made it like this. You can see it in the right picture in the first row. Yeah, when that is done, when the whole chiseling process is done, you can put it in the fridge or outside so it can cool down. It's better when you put it in the fridge so it gets pretty cold and the kit is very hard. So you can easily remove the copper plate from the kit. And yeah, when you get down the copper plate from the kit, it looks like the left picture in the from the two down below. And yeah, you can see there are kit leftovers on it, and we don't want them on there. So we're gonna heat the whole plate till it's, yeah, you can see when the kit is turning into this pasty, liquidy kind of form, and then you wipe it away with a paper towel as good as possible. In my case, it was pretty less kit on the plate. We also had it in school that we had pretty much kit on there, so the whole plate was completely covered in kit because it was too warm when we put the plate from the when we took down the plate from the kit board. So it should pretty cool. The plate and the kit board should be pretty cool, so it's easier and you don't have that much kit on it. And when you have cleaned it as good as possible with the paper towel, then you can take some acetone, which works the best in this case, um, to completely clean it and get completely rid of all the kit leftovers, which might be on there or will be on there. And then it should look like the right picture next to it. Yeah, then to the last steps. In school, we always made it like this 3D kind of shape. So we cut it first out some little pieces of the edges so we can bend them to create, yeah, an edge. And then we solder them, then we soldered them together. This is optional, but it's a good point for the stability. And yeah, and which I don't have in the PowerPoint. I see you also can make these little hooks so you can um, hang them on a wall. And yeah, this is also optional, but we always made it like this because, yeah, where else should we put them than in our room? And yeah, then the last 2 points are optional, but in school we always made it like this. You can patinate the copper, and then after patinating the copper, you can bring the highest points of the plate. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there are these high points. You can bring out with the pumice flour so they're getting shiny and this copper looking again. And yeah, and that's it. I hope you liked my presentation, and if you have questions, please ask them.
Yeah, first question from Beth Holmberg is, what is the board thickness? How thick is the layer of pitch which is on it? Pitch is the Kitmasse.
Yeah. Do you know on the kit board or on the copper plate?
On the kit board.
On the kit board, it is, yeah. I don't know. I think in school it's 3 centimeters thick, but it don't
Okay.
need to be that thick. So
No, that's
yeah.
good. All right. That's so I'm used to it's always been pitch bowls.
Okay.
So the center is much deeper.
Okay. No,
but
we
for,
have
but for
this
something
frame.
this shallow, that's excessive. You don't need that. And I like
Yeah.
this simple, clean, flat. And the board, does it
Yeah.
have little walls to it? The
Yeah.
kit board? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a little box.
Yeah, it looks like a picture frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we have them in different sizes for the different plate sizes.
Do you know what your Kitmasse is? What the pitch is? Because I know there's many kinds.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I could ask my teacher next week and send it to Patrick, and he can
That'd be great.
send you the informations.
That'd be great.
Okay, he can do that.
Yeah.
So the next question, again by Beth Holmberg, was for transferring the images with acetone, are they inkjet printed? And to be very honest, I had similar question. How does the transferring with acetone work?
Yeah, it's a print jet
Okay.
one, and you have to turn up the color intensity so it's pretty high, so you can transfer it more easily. And you turn the paper where you copy it on with the colored side onto the plate, and then you put some acetone on it. And
on the back.
Yeah, in most cases it isn't that intense from the color, although it's this high intensity of color. But we always line it then with some adding so we can see it better, and and in the end you don't see it anymore because you clean it with acetone. And
so you can transfer it and then get out a pen and make it a little more intense, but you've got that image there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How thin a lines can one transfer with this? This sounds like the holy grail how to transfer computer-made drawings to sheet metal.
Yeah, if you did black and white, how
thin do you know? Have you ever experienced how thin were the lines you were using?
They shouldn't be too thin, but actually I don't know. I think our lines were 2 millimeters.
Okay, that's quite thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least for transferring a drawing. But anyway.
Yeah. You can always make it a little bit thicker to transfer it, but then you can take a thinner pencil to make them thinner. So yeah.
Yeah, but you lose the preciseness of the drawing. So which would be the advantage if you take it straight from the computer.
I wonder if there's a way to put some anchor points in that would be like, okay, at this point we know that it's touching the frame, and so when we're after transferring the image, when you're inking it in again, you're like, okay, it has to touch there. Yeah, this is very interesting, Patrick. It's a little bit neater than rubbing chalk dust.
Yep. Yeah, this is how we were taught to transfer the drawings,
This is how
or
I
one
teach
of the ways.
transferring drawings. I'm trying to think if I've heard any other. I mean, the only other methods I know for working in the copper, the other method I've heard is to take the image and glue it to the copper with rubber cement. Just, you
Spray
can peel it
adhesive.
off again. And then you get out a very small center punch and you just put dots around all the lines very gently. And it's on the back side so that you can, connect the dots after you've peeled it off. And what are you using for the patina? How are you doing the patina?
We use, I don't know if it's right in English, but sulfur liver.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Liver of sulfur, which is, I don't know what the hell that is. It's like a sulfate of some kind.
Yeah.
Okay. Classic. That's very old-fashioned. How delightful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the meantime, I might ask another question maybe, which is, I was always wondering for these particular chiseling hammers, what is the ball used for? And I thought you might know.
Actually, we in school, we don't have them with this ball at the end. We have them straight cut. So actually, I don't know for what. I think they don't have a reason, but I'm not sure. I'm not working with them that often that I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sold in these giant sets here. It's called a dapping tool.
Okay.
It's just for making a round dent. But nobody I know who does chasing and repousse uses a round ball tool at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very strange. They're everywhere. Why?
Maybe it comes from this, maybe it has been originally used for, like this style of hammer has been originally used for making armors and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I don't know, but.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure because we blacksmiths, we don't use them in school that often. Our engravers, they use them every time when they use a hammer. So maybe they know why there is this.
So I see you ask them and let me know if they have a good answer.
Yeah.
No name.
No good answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite fake hammer, the wrong hammer that works right, is a cobbler's hammer, the hammer for shoemakers.
Okay.
And for some reason, that kind of hammer shows up in cheap sales here, in used tool sales very frequently. And it's got that nice big wide front, but it doesn't have much mass. Nice little handle. So it's not bad for faking it for a little bit of engraving or chasing and repousse.
Yeah, here they are usually casted.
They're cast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were wondering once in school. Yeah,
that's
like
crap.
I think the shoemaker with leather working and like just hammering in nails doesn't care. And probably it was cheaper to make them that way.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm seeing those. That's interesting. Now I'm going to have to pay attention. I'm going to look for the little seam.
There was no seam in the ones we had, so probably it was then ground out afterwards. But you see it in the spark test.
Oh.
And we were then wondering, why does this hammer not do too much this or that, and why is it so soft?
Well, since I'm only using it to hit the ends of tiny little tools.
Now you can make a spark test with yours
Maybe I will
if you want to.
once I get my grinder set up.
Your presentation was really, really well explaining everything.
It's neat for me to see the similar but different approaches. I really like the kit box, the kit board. That's efficient. I also like the bending it and soldering it to make it stiff. So you can use a little bit thinner material, but end up with a nice stable piece when you're done. That's really nice.
Yeah, the first one I made, it
Mhm.
was a little, yeah, we didn't already have the right technique, so we
Mhm.
put a wood plate in the back of it because it wasn't that, it was a little bit weird shaped, and yeah, it wasn't
It's
in the,
amazing what a flat sheet of metal can decide to do on its own.
yeah,
And where it's just like, nope, you cannot fix me. I am not. Yep.
yeah. So we had to be a little bit creative.
Creative is
Yeah.
good. Yep.
But the second one we made, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good one.
Nice.
And yeah. It's
So have
fun
you
to-
only been working from the back side, hammering
Yeah.
towards the front? Okay, you haven't done any
Yeah,
work
you
on,
can see
you haven't
it, like-
turned it around. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you haven't turned it around then and worked also from the front side.
No, we don't
No.
do that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but you could do it if you want, but
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, interesting seeing similarities and differences. Which is cool. Didn't Heather McClarty do a Treff once?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
On
Yep.
fold forming.
Oh, on fold forming, of course.
Yep.
Of course.
This was she was also thinking about repousse, or this was also in the talk, but I was like, hey, I had never heard anything about fold forming before. This sounds so interesting. Let's do this.
It's super cool. Yep. It's a fun thing to experiment with because it's a little hard to predict the results entirely.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
No,
Okay, so I have to ask, what else have you been learning at school? This sounds great.
currently we're making some holding for a bell.
Mhm.
Yeah, we made some roses, some frying pans, and
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That's some
all
work.
that different kind of stuff. Yeah. Currently, we're also making how is it called? A little motor in the yeah. This one is a little bit not of the schedule. It's we thought okay, it would be pretty interesting to make something different, and yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. But we're making
um,
very different kind of stuff. It's cool. Yeah. We also made a hammer and tongues. Yeah.
Proper. Good.
yeah,
You have to do
one
that.
has to maybe say her teacher is the guy who has last time been giving this presentation about ergonomic tooling, and he is, I
Oh.
think, the best hammer maker I know. Thank you, Anna. This has been a fantastic presentation. We have now this possibility that one can donate to the ongoing of this project on our website. There is a button, donate, right at the top navigation. And if you feel yourself like you have something you want to talk about, you have a certain design approach which you find fantastic, there's a certain technique you like, repousse, what have you, certain kind of bending, whatever you think you have to offer to the community. If you want to give a Treff presentation, just get in contact with me or Paul. Contact details are on the website available, or you just send an email to blacksmithswithoutborders@gmail.com.